All right, fire them up!
I know what you did. Blame Jared Leto. You shouldn't have done that. You know, I've watched Jared Leto's entire career, not just acting, but his career in music as well. And for the life of me, I can never understand the hate that this man gets. Because specifically for his acting career, when you're an actor, you're told by the director and producers and everybody else that's above you, the ones that are making the film, like, hey, the character is this, so I need you to play the character like that. And that's pretty much what he has always given us. But for some odd reason, the movie flops and people immediately go to the fact that, oh, well, Jared Leto's in it, he just can't act, and that's his fault that the movie flops. But really, when you look at everything and contextualize it into the films that we've seen him in, it's almost never his fault. Let's take, for example, his new film, TRON ARES. Now, he stars as ARES, the titular character, as the AI program that leaves the digital world and comes to the real world on a dangerous mission, specifically more than likely to find Tron and to get rid of him. I mean, we've had 2 movies now where we've gone into the grid. So this third film to bring those AI programs into our world, especially what's going on in the real world with AI, seems to make all the sense in the world. I completely understand the script is supposed to be commentary on the dangers of AI in the real world. It's not really supposed to be some grandiose sci-fi adventure, but they did poorly, honestly, in my opinion, with the script. The script itself is good in concept, but they don't do a good enough job of trying to explain that, hey, this is a story about the programs coming into our world and wreaking havoc. If they would have just left it as that, went with the original 2 Tron films, I should say, and said, hey, this is a follow-up to that, we probably would have been okay. But they didn't do that. They went with more high concepts, and I think it fell flat on audiences because there wasn't enough explaining of it in the entire film. Add on the fact that Greta Lee's character, Eve Kim, and Elizabeth Dillinger, played by Gillian Anderson, those are very important characters to the overall story of the script, and we don't actually see a lot of them in the film. There's a lot of just empty air in this film, and it's really the fault of how the story is written within the script and how the film is directed. And truly, one of the bright spots of the film is Jared Leto playing ARES. ARES is a program from the digital world come into ours. He's AI, and there's this conflict within him where he's made specifically for a task, but he starts to gain consciousness, gain sentience, and he realizes that his task may not be as simple and black and white as he once thought. Suffice it to say, the problem with Tron ARES is not the acting. It's the pacing, it's the directing, it's the fact that the script is very muddled. It's unclear what they're trying to tell you. You really have to read between the lines to understand that, yes, this is about the dangers of AI in our world. We get that. This is a moral lesson. But people went to this film trying to see Tron all over again. And yes, to me, Tron is in the film in 2 different ways, but a lot of people don't really get to see that because everything else in the film is so disjointed. Now, that's not to say that this film is a complete loss. It's not. There are 3 very bright spots about the film. One of those bright spots is Jared Leto as ARES. He does a really good job within the script that he's given. I can say that pretty much about any movie he's ever been in. You can say that, oh, well, he just can't act. And really, you don't know the extent of his acting, really, unless you dig into the script and say, okay, they asked him to do this, which is exactly what an actor does. An actor gives you what the director says, hey, this is what the character is from the script that's written. This is how I want you to play the character. And most of the time, we get very good acting from Jared Leto. I believed him as Morbius. I believed him as ARES. I believed him when he was the Joker. Even if you didn't like the design of him, the fact that he played the Joker was actually really good. The second thing I really liked about Tron ARES was the visuals. I think everybody went to see this movie knowing that it was going to look good, but even I have to admit, it looked better than I thought it was going to look. If you go back to the first film, you can actually look at it and see that it was revolutionary for the time. Now, this doesn't actually take a step forward for any of the things that we do for VFX, because believe me, VFX is on a completely different level, but this is still probably the best looking movie we've seen all of 2025. This is a really visually stunning film. Everything in it, I believe, you can tell the separation between the digital world and our world and how they collide and the physics of it all. It just is a really good looking film. And the third thing I liked about Tron Ares, and honestly, it is probably the best thing about the entire film, and it is a character unto itself, really, is the music. That same feeling we got from Daft Punk in Tron Legacy, we get from Nine Inch Nails' Trent Reznor here in Tron Ares. The music from beginning to end is its own thing. It sets the tone. It follows you from one end of the film to the other. It is absolutely fantastic. The music is so good. This is only the second time in maybe 20 years where I've decided that I'm going to go and get a soundtrack for a film. The last time I did that was the first Black Panther film. The music was just so stunning. I had to go out and get it for my own copy to keep in the house so I can listen to it whenever I wanted to. And guess what? I'm going to do that also with Tron Ares. Music, absolute 10 out of 10. Best thing about Tron Ares, hands down. But overall, Tron Ares loses its way because a lot of people went into the film expecting to see Tron physically fighting off another villain in our world. And that's not what we got. And I completely understand that. For me, Tron is in the film, just not physically in the way you would think that he would be in a film like this. Yes, he's physically in the first two films, and we do get a glimpse of him in the Tron Uprising animated series. But I believe Tron is in this film just as an idea, which is exactly what Tron is. Remember, Tron was created to be a program that fights for the user inside of the grid. So what do we have ever since then, now that he's disappeared? We've had the Uprising in the series, where Tron trains the character Beck, and Beck leads other programs to fight in Tron's name. Well, I believe we're getting the same thing from that to this, which is why I've said consistently, I don't believe Tron Ares is a follow-up to the original Tron films. I believe this is a follow-up more so to Tron Uprising, where we understand now that Tron is not just a program, not just an entity. It's an idea that can be transferred from one program to another. So Tron lives on no matter whether we see him physically or within an anthropomorphized type of program, but we actually get to see that idea go from one program to another. So the uprising, so the revolution within the grid continues. We saw that in Tron Uprising with Tron training Beck, and Beck leading the revolution in Tron's name and having other programs follow him. I believe this is the exact same thing we're getting right here. And I believe we're going to get another film after this where we actually get to see a physically embodied Tron, most likely played by Jared Leto, as he drops the name Ares and takes up the name Tron in order to, within our world, lead an uprising against the bad guys' clue within the grid. And quite honestly, if they don't actually follow up the film and do exactly that, I'll come back and honestly say that this was a waste of a film. As beautiful as it is, and as much as I love the music, if we don't get a payoff in the next film, because I believe there's going to be another film, because this is a franchise, by the way, I will honestly say that, yeah, this was a waste of time. So for me, this was a 6.5 out of 10. While I sat there and enjoyed it, and I love the music, and I love the visuals, and I thought Jared Leto was pretty good, this film still is very muddled. The script and the story, it goes off in a million different tangents, and it doesn't actually pull itself together at no point in the film, not even when we get to its conclusion. There's a lot of work to do in order to keep this franchise going. I think they can do it, and I think they can take those threads and weave them into a better film if they do another one. But it's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take a lot of fine-tuning and a lot of people looking at what went wrong with this film, as it looks like it's going to lose over $100 million at box office. And while I enjoyed it, and I understand why people went to the theater and kind of poo-pooed on it as well. But those are my thoughts. I want you to get in the comments and tell me what you think of it. And tell me, did you actually watch Tron Uprising? Because I've mentioned it a few times to a bunch of people I know, and nobody seemed to have watched it. And I said, hey, if you watch Tron Uprising, I think you will understand Tron Ares a bit more, and you will get where the film was trying to go, even though it did a poor job of trying to get there. But those are my thoughts. Again, I want you to let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video. God bless. I love you, and peace. See you next time.